Ahora yo lo que quiero hacer es invitar a Giuseppe Stigliano, que es quien coescribió este libro que estamos presentando hoy. Giuseppe Stigliano es profesor en la UCL School of Management y en la POLIMI Graduate School of Management. Es un referente también en innovación y estrategia digital aplicada al comercio minorista. Nos va a estar hablando sobre los 10 principios fundamentales para navegar este mundo posdigital. Giuseppe es italiano, habla perfecto español, pero esta presentación va a ser en inglés. Así que, Giuseppe, si sos tan amable, bienvenido a la Argentina. Welcome. Adelante.
Buenos días a todas y a todos. Soy Giuseppe Stigliano, soy claramente italiano. En unos minutos dejaré de fingir que hablo español. Pero me gusta muchísimo su idioma. Estoy profundamente enamorado de Argentina. Estoy intentando de aprender, estoy practicando, estoy leyendo mucho, estoy escribiendo mucho. Todos los meses escribo un artículo en Forbes en español. Bueno, técnicamente ChatGPT y yo escribimos el artículo y el profesor Rivera tiene que supervisionar todo, cada palabra, cada vez. Pero bueno, y por favor no lo van a decir a la Forbes. Okay. Es un privilegio para mí estar acá y muchísimas gracias por estar aquí. Retail disruptivo. Voy a hablar inglés. This is a picture of one of the first stores in the world that about 10 years ago changed the rules of the game. It's called Samsung 837. It's in New York, Meatpacking District. And why it changed the rules of the game? Because until 10, 15, 20 years ago, if you asked what are the rules of retail to someone, the answer would be every time the same. He would have been always the same. 3 main rules for retailers to succeed. Location, location, location. If you have the right location, you sell. Because the job of a retailer was to get rid of the products. And so if you have the good location, the right location, you will have people passing by. So it's going to work. This store is 5,500 square meters. 5 floors in one of the most expensive areas in New York City. It's full of products. All Samsung products are showcased there. The only thing you can buy is coffee and croissant on the 6th floor where the rooftop is. That's it. They're not selling any product. It's like a museum of their products. It's a completely different concept, right? And it's a huge investment. Does it make sense? Well, it depends. Flagship stores have been around forever. We know they don't work from a financial standpoint, but they have a role. There is a reason why they exist. But this was kind of different because this was already there in a digital world, let's say, in a world where location, yeah, it still makes sense, but it's different. What is a location in a digital world? It can be a website. A location, or if you want, a destination, is a place where you want to go. A want-to-go place is a location, a destination. A place where you have to go, a have-to-go place, it's not a destination. Venice in Italy, nobody says, I have to go to Venice, right? You say, I want to go to Venice. It's a destination. That's exactly what this store wanted to be. And so I wouldn't be a marketing professor and an advisor if I didn't start a presentation talking about turbulence and the speed of change and the world is not the same, and you know the story. But typically, advisors, professors, when they talk about change and turbulence, well, they tend to have slides with data and hardcore data and show data like this saying that the world is different and companies are failing to adapt, which is the reason why most of the companies out there are not coping with change and so on and so forth. I have chosen to tell the same story in a different way. Okay, so thanks to the books with Professor Kotler, which got translated into Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Turkish, Russian, Vietnamese, Polish, Italian, Spanish, and some other languages. And due to the fact that I'm 44 and he is 94, so he doesn't travel anymore, especially internationally, I've traveled the world. I've met so many people. I've shared our thoughts with so many professionals like you. And every time that I was there, until a few months ago, I used to show a slide to prove that the world is changing fast. And the slide was an experiment that I used to run. So basically, I used to ask an artificial intelligence to find all the images of donuts on Google Images. And I used that example to show the world that artificial intelligence didn't work. I mean, it was okay, but not really what we want. So a few months ago, if you asked an artificial intelligence to show you all the pictures of donuts, this would have been the result. Half of them are dogs. Okay? Now, this was a great slide for me to say, hey, clearly humans will win this race. We are better. Humans will never make this mistake. Okay? By the way, if you repeated the experiment with muffins, you ask, like, hey, find me the images of muffins, same result. So I was, what? Don't you believe me? Look at this. Half of them are dogs. So it's just the way it is. It doesn't work. So everybody was, okay, so it's reassuring, right? Humans would never make this mistake. Now, less than a year ago, ChatGPT released ChatGPT 4.0, which is the version where you can upload images. So I took this image, I couldn't help but testing the machine, and this was the result. Not only was ChatGPT able to understand the nuances and the irony behind the thing, and basically this is a perfect explanation of that image, way better than any human I know would be able to do. So that gave me a sense of the speed, and I know there are in the room some people who know a lot about data, technology, and artificial intelligence. So I don't want to enter in the details because I don't have a technical background. I'm a marketing nerd. I studied marketing, specialized in marketing, got a PhD in marketing. I teach marketing. I've worked in marketing for the last 25 years, running marketing agencies, and I wrote 3 books with Philip Kotler. Can you imagine the level of nerd that I reached? So I don't have a technical background. Typically what I do, I tend to explain technology to CEOs and CMOs to figure out how to use it, but not because I understand it deeply from a technical standpoint, because I tend to figure out what are the business implications of technology. So, but just to give you an idea, the previous version of ChatGPT has the same intellectual quotient of Albert Einstein. And it's 10 times more powerful than the previous version, which was released 6 months before. So every time that they release a new version, it's 10 times more powerful. In the past, ancient Greece, in the ancient Greeks used to think that when you approach the future, it's like walking backwards. Because you don't know where you're going, but you know where you come from. And so you base all your decisions on the past. That's a great image, right? You walk backwards. Today, we are running backwards. Would you ever run backwards? Can you imagine the level of danger? That's exactly what we're doing. The only thing we know is the past, but that past is becoming super past, remote past, because it's just far away. It's impossible to have a 5-year plan. I always laugh when companies ask me help to write down the industrial plan, which is a 5-year plan. 5 years. This morning, Apple shared a big news. The next version, the next update of the iOS will work with the AirPods in a way that there will be live translation. I speak Italian, you hear me speaking whatever you want. Imagine the competitive advantage that this gives to a little producer of empanadas in the middle of, I don't know. Imagine the barriers that this breaks. Imagine the end of a competitive advantage for those who spoke different languages. It's just another word. And it's months, days, weeks. It's hard to predict. We know it. How this will impact retail? Well, three main questions for this morning. For the rest, you need to read the book. But this is a good summary, so you don't necessarily need to buy it. First, what is the impact on retail? Second, what is the impact on the client? Third, how does the strategy of a retailer or a consumer brand should change, considering how retail is changing and how people are changing. So the customer journey is changing. This is what I will try to talk about in the next few minutes. The main one, the first question I want to answer is what do we mean by post-digital? Okay, so post-digital is basically three things. First, it is the end of the blah, blah, blah about digital transformation. We are business people here. We are not interested in the technical nuances of digital transformation. We're interested in the business implications of digital transformation. And digital transformation has been around for a while now, so it's time to talk about what do we do with these things. My favorite quote is, digital transformation without a business case should be called R&D, research and development. And we are not in research and development. We are in business. So what is the business case? What do we do with digital transformation? So we call it post-digital because it's the end of digital in terms of blah, blah, blah. And it's about, okay, can your company afford a digital transformation? Yes or no? If the answer is no, either you figure out an alternative model or you sell the company. Full stop. Let's stop talking. Let's stop figuring out. It's happening. It's already there. Second, GPT, other than being ChatGPT, it's an acronym for another thing. It means general purpose technology. What is happening today, the reason why we are running backwards, is not ChatGPT, it's not generative AI. It's the convergence of a huge number of GPTs, general purpose technologies, including AI, of course, including virtual reality, augmented reality. They have both reached a level of accuracy incredible. Computational power, quantum computing. So the computational power is higher. Robotics, 3D printing, 5G, all these general purpose technologies, they're called enablers, are more prone to combine with each other than any other technology that we have experienced in the past. In other words, ChatGPT is not your fridge, it's electricity. It's not a tool. Don't trust those who tell you that AI is just another tool. We've been using tools forever. It's like fire. It's like a knife. It's a tool. It's not. A knife doesn't decide what to cut and who to kill autonomously. This is generative AI. It's not like the previous AI. AI has been around for 50 years, 40 years. It's not. The previous AI was a machine where you could ask, what is my best performing product based on this data set? Then we had predictive AI. What will likely be the best performing product this year based on historical data? That's predictive AI. Now we have generative AI. It's what do you think will be the best performing product, considering what my competitors are doing, what everybody in the world has said about this topic in the last 5 years, what McKinsey thinks about this, what HBR is, you know what I mean? Just a huge number of sources, and then you get an answer. This is a big deal. It changes everything. This is the first time in history where we use technology not to reproduce our ideas, not to store our ideas like we did with the encyclopedia in a DVD and then in online, the cloud. It's not storing, it's not reproduction, it's not amplification of our ideas. It's generation of ideas, stories, concepts. And don't trust those who say, no, it's not generation because it's not creative. The only thing it does is mixing existing information in a new way. That's exactly what creativity is. That's exactly what we do. Our brain works exactly the same way. Creativity is not coming up with ideas out of the blue that didn't exist before. It's recombining existing elements in a new way. That's exactly what ChatGPT does. And even the way it learns, intuition and reasoning, it's the brain. The human brain works with intuition and reasoning and validation, right? You have an intuition, you think about it, you try. If it works, you memorize. It becomes an heuristic, a mental shortcut, something that you will remember and you won't repeat in the future. That's how it works. So this is important because it leads us to the last one. 2,500 years ago, Heraclitus said, the only constant is change. What's the difference then? The speed. This is true. This is happening. And it's happening because of this convergence of general purpose technologies that we're witnessing. This is for sure, it's a 1 century opportunity to rewrite the rules of the game. This is happening now. This is the post-digital world that we describe. And of course, retail is impacted. What is retail? Well, I'm sure if you ask someone, or if you asked someone in the last few years, what is retail? Very clear. Comercio minorista. Mayoristas es B2B, minoristas son B2C. Very clear. Retail is minorista. Is this the same today? Well, not exactly. You can be a manufacturer, so a B2B player, and you can bypass every intermediary and sell to the final customer with a website. So you become a retailer technically because you sell small quantities to the end user. And what about C2C, customer to customer? eBay, 1994. It started with that. You can sell your blazer to another client. If you sell the blazer to another client, to another person, sorry, if that person buys from you, he or she doesn't buy a new product in a store from a brand. So that customer is competing with a retailer, same competitive arena. So technically they are a retailer. And what about what I call me to me? That's super nice. Me to me is the best. Me to me is when you find the old jacket from your grandmother somewhere in a house, you put it on a platform online where there are designers from all over the world, and everyone from all over the world can give you a proposal and say, hey, for $200, I will hack your jacket, I will add this, I will change the design, I will cut it a little bit to make it more modern. You choose the project that you like, you approve, you send the money through the platform holds the money until the process is completed and releases the money to the designer once the product is returned. So this is me to me, I'm rebuying my own products. So even individuals are retailers, selling themselves, I don't even know how it works, selling themselves the product. And what about business to AI? Agentic AI, which is the next frontier, is when basically we will have an artificial intelligent agent. Every morning, our phone or this agent will ask us, what do you want to eat tonight? You say, I don't know, empanadas. Perfect. He will check if you have the ingredients. Otherwise, he will place an order online. And basically, this will decide for you. Why? Because you're telling I want empanadas. You're not telling the brand of olives, the brand of, I don't know, the meat and whatever. Buy some milk. Who chooses the brand? The agent, right. Which means that the brand of milk needs to start marketing products to an AI. So marketers will stop trying to seduce human beings and will have to learn how to seduce a robot. Do you know how to do that? I have no idea. This is business to AI. And what about AI to AI? The day when the milk producer will say, you know what? Why should I have human beings dealing with an AI that is choosing for the client? Let me find another agent, AI agent, speaking with the other agent, and they will speak with each other, and they will figure out what to do. What do we do in this world? I don't have the answers. But it's an interesting one, right? Someone says, yeah, but there will be an universal income that will be paid to people and we will just, spend time creating art and discussing. I wish. If it works, I'm fine. That's the day where I will learn Spanish. I will have time to learn Spanish. So this is another point. Oh, that would be amazing. I can't wait for that day, exactly, to talk about running backwards. Amazing, amazing. I can't wait. And so, second, that was the first question, how this volatility and the speed and turbulence is impacting retail. How is this impacting the customer journey? Okay, so interestingly enough, when we talk about the customer journey, consultants, advisors, everyone tells you that the customer journey is not what it used to be. Sure, we know it's not linear, it's fragmented, it's hard to predict, you don't know, it's hard to attribute, right? You buy a pair of shoes in a store. Who knows where your journey started? Who knows how to attribute the role of conversion rightly? Because technically, the conversion is happening in a physical store. But maybe you have checked online for that product. Maybe you have read a review that changed your mind and made you decide to buy. So how to attribute the right role to the right channel? It's a nightmare. So we know it's not linear, it's hard to predict. However, this is a model to analyze the customer journey. There are many of them, but this is the one from Kotler, and by contract, I need to use this one. So why I like this one? First, because with Kotler, it's always like that, right? 4 Ps, 5 As, so it's easy. In our book, you will find 10 Bs. Be loyal, be personal, be... And these are the 10 Bs of retail. But you don't know the back story. Kotler called me one day and say, find 10 words starting with the same letter. And after 2 weeks, I called him and said, hey, I have the 10 Bs. He was like, that's great. I sent the list with the 10 Bs, which was 10 times B with another word. And he answered, only an Italian could give this solution to the problem. But he liked it, so these are the 10 Bs, trust me. Anyways, why do I like this one? Let's play a game, okay? Quick game. I want you to think to someone you know very well, who is part of your life, a friend, a partner, whatever. Don't tell me, don't tell no one. Just think of someone who is part of your life that you have met in the last 5, 6, 7 years. Okay? You have it? Okay. I bet all the money of Martin that I will describe in detail the customer journey or the journey, the relationship that you have with this person, okay? I bet that there's been a moment in which you have met this person, right? I bet that there's been a moment in which you have said, I like it. I like him, her, whatever. Something, some sort of click. You meet every day hundreds of people, but someone is like, right? This is intuition. We are social creatures. So what will we do? We need to validate that. So you start asking your friends in common, you start searching online, you stalk the person on Instagram to check the pictures, you ask for information, you want to know more because you need to validate your intuition. If that validation works, following thing, you act. You decide to see that person again. You find a way to meet that person again. You want to spend time with that person. And today, if I ask you, what do you think about that person? You would tell me, oh, she's great, he's great. Of course, you speak very highly about the person, right? Customer journey, same story. There is a moment in which you become aware of someone. There is a moment in which you feel an appeal. There is a moment in which you ask for information, you look for information. There is a moment in which you decide to act. You buy the product, and if they ask you, you will recommend that product, or you will write a positive review, hopefully not about your friends. But that's what we do with products. Why I'm telling you this? Because on the one hand, it's true, the customer journey is changing. But on the other hand, we're human beings. We only have one way to build relationships, with products or with people. That's the only one we know. So as far as the business to AI and the AI to AI won't be in place, as far as companies will be run and managed and there will be employees and clients will be human beings, This is the solution. Think of the human being behind that journey. This is the only way not to lose track of what is happening. Now, talking about this, there is an interesting fact. The customer journey is not phygital anymore. It's three-dimensional: physical, digital, and virtual. This is important. 6 months ago, my son called me and said, "Hey, Dad, if I do very well at school this year, would you buy me a BMW?" I'm like, "Carlo, you are 8 years old. What the hell are you talking about?" "It's a great brand." "I know it's a great brand, but it's a big ask." "No, it's not. It's only $8. "Carlo, what are you talking about?" He wanted to buy a BMW for his avatar on Fortnite. Okay? And on Fortnite, for his avatar, you can also buy a Moncler jacket, a Polo Ralph Lauren, Oreo cookies are doing Roblox words and stuff like that. What I'm telling you is that there is an entire generation of future customers who is developing a very clear mental map of what is a cool brand and what is not in a virtual world before they have a chance to have an experience with those brands in the physical world and in the digital world. My son doesn't follow BMW on Instagram. My son doesn't configure cars on the BMW website. My son has never walked into a car dealer in the real world, the physical world. And so I told him, "But are you talking about the real world or the digital world?" And he said, "What do you mean by real?" That's why I say physical, digital, and virtual are all real for this generation. Do you see the fish tank, the aquarium that you have in your apartment? There is a fish in it, right? You go there and you ask the fish, "Hey, what do you think about water?" What do you think a fish would think about water? It's the only thing they know. They've been immersed into water forever. They don't know anything different. That's exactly how the next generation perceives the digital world. So there is no difference between physical, digital, and virtual. They are all real for this generation. And this is the next generation. However, this next generation is already impacting my choices. Next time I buy a car, what do you think my son will suggest to buy? Next time I buy him a jacket because the jacket from previous year is too small, what do you think, what brand would they recommend? This is already happening. It's here and it's three-dimensional. We talk about this in the book. The customer journey is not linear, we know. It's still about human beings, we know, but it's also absolutely three-dimensional. Third and last point, how the strategy should change. Well, the strategy is about omnichannel, we know. Omnichannel, this word that everybody has heard at least once in the last 3 days, because everybody talks about this. Well, I don't like omnichannel. I think omnichannel doesn't work. In the last 25 years, I've worked with so many companies all over the world, and every time it's always the same. You start with this idea to do omnichannel because maybe you're getting pressure from shareholders or the owners of the company, someone from the top. And you think, yeah, of course, I know how to do it because there are so many sources of information about omnichannel. You start and you think that your solution is the best. So you start and then someone says, "Oh, look what your competitors are trying, but they're not succeeding. So maybe it's a bit hard." No, I have the solution. I know how to do it. You start and then they start telling me, "Well, I didn't realize that I needed to produce content for each and every social channel. I'm not sure we have the money. Oh, I didn't realize I need so many people to moderate the conversation in so many channels. I'm not sure I have enough resources, enough people. Oh, I didn't realize I needed to sponsor every single content, otherwise nobody will see the content itself. I don't have that budget." And so with this idea to be everywhere, just because this is what people want, it's broken. There are too many touch points. And this was true in a phygital world, physical and digital. Now it's three-dimensional. Imagine that there are physical, digital, and virtual touch points. Do you really think you can be you can be everywhere? I don't think so. It doesn't work. It's such a huge waste of money, and you end up doing spray and pray, as they say in the US. That's why I always say, well, since I'm in Argentina, I always say that omnichannel is like making empanadas, basically. So everybody thinks they have the recipe. Everybody thinks that they will do an amazing product, and then the result is always a bit wah, 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 wah. That's exactly what's happening. Now, this was the story. Multiple channels? No. We cannot have multiple channels because people are, they don't want the friction. They don't want to speak with you in a channel and then they don't find the product that you have promoted online in the store. It doesn't work, which is right? Imagine you speak with a friend and when you speak on the phone, you speak with the person. When you meet the person in person, it's completely different. Of course you don't like it. It's crazy. So the theory was right. And the solution was, let's be omni. Let's try and be in every single touch point because this is what people want. This is what customers want. I've been doing this for the last 25 years. Trust me, it doesn't work. You can't be everywhere in a world so fragmented with so many channels. Every time, this is the solution. This is one of the companies I work with. It's called ADO. It's a 34 billion company operating in, I don't even know how many countries, in the do-it-yourself business. They sell hammers. And the president always tells me, I can't sell a hammer in every single possible touch points because it's inefficient. Selling a hammer on the e-commerce means that I need a human being that goes in a warehouse, finds the product, packs the product, sends that single hammer to one person, and that person can look at the hammer and say, no, I don't like it, and returns the product. This is insanely expensive. I cannot afford it. I cannot afford to be everywhere just because they want it. It doesn't work. And this was true in a phygital world, physical and digital. What about the three-dimensional world? There is no way. So what's the solution? In the book, we talk about opti-channel. Stop trying to be everywhere. Guiding principles. These were some of the main concepts, and there is much more. And one of the things that we highlight in the book, these are the 10 Bs, right? One of the things that we highlight in the book is that there is no skill set without mindset. There is no skill set without mindset. You can read all the books in the world. You can listen to all the speakers in the world. You can leverage your experience in the best possible way. There's no way you succeed unless you develop the right mindset. And the right mindset for this word is a different one. First step of the mindset, you should focus on what this young man has been saying and telling us for the last 50 years. Marketing is not about helping a company getting rid of what they make. That's not marketing. It's just a fragment of what marketing should be. Look at this way. Marketing is not about making people want things. It's about making things people want. From making people want things to making things people want. Do you see the difference? The difference is that marketers should be so close to the customer to understand what they want, need, and desire before they realize it. Potentially before your clients, competitors. But not too early. Because if the time to market is wrong, you're not selling anything. But if you figure out that window, that's your competitive advantage. And if you cannot do that, if you cannot be a first mover because you don't have the infrastructure, you don't have the resources, you don't have the right talent, fair enough. There is still a second mover advantage if you're ready to surf the wave. But you gotta be there with the right mindset, with the idea that you're happy to question your strategy if it's not working and change. Not with the idea that, oh, we've always done things this way, it's gonna work for sure. It's a big difference because we as a generation, we've been raised with a different mindset. The mindset was build your deep foundations at school, university, family, and you will be able to count on those foundations and build your career for the rest of your life. Deep foundations are great, but they are a legacy. You don't move. If you have too many roots, too deep, you don't move. This is a world where you need to move. So the recommendation that we share in the book is, let's stop talking about foundations and let's think with the Lego brick mindset. so that we can change the shape and the color every 6 months if needs be. We can adapt. So whatever you decide to build, don't build to last forever. Build to adapt, because this is a world where every 6 months everything changes. What if Apple releases AirPods with live translations? They're doing it. This changed a lot in a lot of markets. So the final recommendation is there is no skill set without mindset. And what is the right mindset? Value creation and Lego brick mentality. Since this is the most important message, mindset, I have decided to close with a story. It's a real story. Just to iterate this point about the foundations and the mindset. In 1986, they decided to build a bridge in Honduras. Honduras is hit by huge hurricanes every year, so they needed to build a very deep foundations, a very strong bridge to ensure it would survive, to ensure that in the future, they could count on the deep foundations of the bridge to build the success of the country, the circulation, to connect the two roads, to serve that little city, that village, and so on and so forth. So the answer they gave to volatility, instability, hurricanes was deep foundations, which is our temptation, because this is the way we've been trained. We've been trained that when there is uncertainty, you need to rely on what you know. But we're running backwards. What we know doesn't help. It's like you go to the moon and you try to speak your language. First, there is no one. Second, chances are that if there is someone, they don't get you. They don't understand what you say. It's another word. So the way we, this generation, but we are in charge, so it's a nightmare, decides what to do amidst uncertainty, volatility, and instability is deep foundations. It's not a good idea. Lego brick mentality. So what's the alternative? Lego brick mentality. Try to put a foot on a Lego brick and then you tell me if it's soft and it's not strong enough. Lego brick constructions and buildings can be strong. It's just a different way of thinking. The Colosseum is still there. It doesn't have foundations. So this is a bridge? Yes. Deep foundations? Yes. Is this the right answer to uncertainty and volatility? No. What happened to this bridge? Well, 2 years later, a very strong hurricane hit the bridge. It was so strong that for the first time in history, they gave the name of the hurricane. The name of the hurricane was not a lady, was a male. For some reason, hurricanes are always Katrina, Maria, whatever. That year was Mitch, because it was stronger and was the strongest in the last century and whatever. What happened to the bridge? Deep foundations. Did it collapse? No. Morning after, the bridge was still there. But everything else was displaced. The hurricane was so strong that it changed the course of the river. The two roads that the bridge was connecting, they were not there anymore. So what about this bridge? The bridge was useless. Still there, but useless. Do you want to be like that bridge? I don't think so. Thank you so much. Yes.